Welcome. My name is Nichel Anderson. I'm the host of this podcast show, Surviving Your Journey Towards Success. Today's topic, we will focus on how to hold on when the struggle has been so long. For your motivational strategy objective that I wish to help you survive in a way that you keep your joy and your mental peace. That is basically your success. So let's get started. So in this day, I am thankful to the prime creator of all things that I give thanks for this blessing and opportunity that I will use it for the greater good. So welcome my survivors of the journey to my podcast that aims to inspire and motivate that you will continue to have joy, peace of mind, and to sustain your success. So thank you so much for joining me today for this particular topic, how to hold on when the struggle has been so long. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Pretty much this topic I want to focus on when you're holding on to the struggle, something in your life. It could be either regarding your career, maybe you're at a particular place that is not giving back to you that defines your worth, or maybe it's your personal life where in the relationship in that sense, and that could just be family or friends or what have you, and you're trying to get to an outcome that you have been in it for so long. So pretty much let's just go ahead and focus on the number one point that I want to relate to you is that the struggle is hard for two reasons on your life journey. Okay, the first reason is that it's not the time for it to be able to conclude itself and get to the next phase, preferably the phase that you want it to be. Plus, you have to also realize that the bigger that it is, meaning the most important outcome that you wish to finally reach in your life and you're struggling so it can happen, also have to be marinated. So let's say it's, in this case, it's maybe a project or maybe it's a goal. For me, I remember when I first wrote my first book, and that was actually regarding what my production is called now, Mole. I had this dream for it to be published. Of course, that was the very first dream. Later on, that was the book, Mitzrayim, was to eventually get it to be a movie. So you have to marinate your skill and knowledge over time. So when I wrote the first book, it wasn't the right time. When I tried to get it published, I kept getting rejection letters, but they said it was, it was very interesting. It was this, it was that, but I couldn't get anybody to take the next step and commit. And sure enough, a few years later, as I was still honing my craft and writing articles on the side, still struggling on to get that manuscript into book form, that's when self-publishing came along, what have you, and other opportunities that you could get it in a digital form and get it to that next level. So when I say that the next part of why, and in a sense of why you're still struggling, also could play into that you have to be marinating your skill and knowledge. So the time that you're still in it is also the time that you are perfecting your skill or the knowledge that you need about the industry, which I can vouch for first. I can vouch for that's what pretty much helped me to get better and better in the craft of writing and transforming that into other mediums. Now, of course, if it's in a relationship, think of it this way. While you in it still, you're struggling, trying to decide to stay or leave, you're learning something, is what I had tweeted a couple of weeks ago now. At least that it's the flip side of the coin. Now you know. But it's a process to be able to accept that. And then also, it's a way while you're still holding on and you're struggling to try to get to that outcome that you desire, it helps you to build your foundation of courage. Now, I talk about courage periodically on my social media. I'm definitely going to continue to do that, and as well in the future do a future show about courage. I think that is key. That is one of the golden keys of life on your journey. And so that leads to consistency, to not end up during the challenging times second guessing and believing Mr. Doubt that I talk about, that is dispatched from Mr. Fear. The second thing I want the main point, is that things and people show up right before your next breakthrough. So when you're holding on and you're about to say, you know what, I just don't think it's worth it, and you want to quit and stop, and then all of a sudden you get these people to kind of reinforce your thinking or what have you, that is the most challenging, because it is on the physical plane where you most often will start to believe that that's what you should do, when it should be the opposite, right? All right, so let's move on to my wisdom point, okay? You have to hold on because it is a part of your meant to be, which equals to your purpose. And I have continued to talk about your purpose, right? I do have plans to do a future podcast show talking about a recent tweet that I did, patterns of your purpose. That is so important. And you have to remember this, right? Nothing is worth it unless you earn it, for it becomes the sweetest berry for you and others by your good deeds of seeds. That is basically your fruits of your labor. And that right there was a quote that I tweeted. By the time you get this episode, it would have been tweeted on February the 11th, 2018, around 12:31 p.m. And the goal of that was to highlight the wisdom that the longest that you in it, that means that's how big it is, how important. And I guarantee you it's tied all up into your purpose of why you even here, why you were chosen to be able to complete it. Now, if it's in a relationship, right? Some type of relationship with someone else or what have you, you got to find the lesson within and do that flip of the coin of what you know now, right? And then use that to make better choices. Now, let's break this down to say, you know, how to hold on when the struggle is so long you want to give up. Let's talk about why that is so. All right, so the reasons to why holding on to a dream, let's focus on that. Or maybe we can even highlight dealing with emotional pain, right? Or stress at work. It's been so long, and so reaching what you wish it to be, leading to your mental peace. Because at the end of the day, we are humans, and everybody, and I mean everybody, want mental peace. They might make bad choices and do certain things that doesn't reflect that. That's on them until they finally wake up and realize they need to be doing some good things, good seeds, right? Because the toughest challenges that we experience on our life journey requires the most consistency and persistence. I'm going to do a show about that too, okay? And at any rate, to get it done. So in these cases, the long time that you're struggling to get a certain outcome, you got to realize that overall it deals with having the foresight that everything falls within the right time. And while we wait, we must use our team to get us through it. So I also have talked about the two teams that you need. You need a spiritual team, you need a physical team. Okay, when I say spiritual, for those that might say, well, no, I got it, if I see it, you got to remember that sometimes things have happened and you know you didn't do it. Somebody else didn't do it. You know what I'm saying? That you can see. It's something that you feel. So therefore, in our language or what have you, we call that the spirit or the spiritual team, right? Or sometimes they might say your angels or what have you. But I just want to get to the focus of your team. Now, for me, it is my faith. It's my faith in God, because the things that I went through in my life, I know. You know what I'm saying? I didn't do it. You know what I'm saying? I had help. And so you have to find what your belief is, because I am a stickler to that. I feel like everybody has their own choices and they choose what they want to believe in, what they know, and they use whatever they need to be able to get to the next point. But at the end of the day, like I keep saying, we are humans, but I also acknowledge that everybody has their own mindset. And so they believe in what they feel is good for them. Because it's a journey for everybody at the end of the day. And at the root of it, no matter what you believe or what you think or what have you, it all comes back to our choices. And that's key. That's another key that I feel is the key, one of the keys of your life journey, right? So at any rate, you have to be able to understand that it's a reason for the struggle, and that's why it's like a tug and war. So let's talk about who are those that are on the path that are struggling, and they've been in it for so long, right? To me, that always comes up to my mind. It's tied to your purpose, all right? Or it's somebody that's in it in a sense that they on their purpose and they trying to find their purpose, or they got lost on the journey and then they got to find their purpose again because maybe they thought it was this. You know what I mean? The bottom line is those in search of something that equates to fulfilling their soul. And basically that, to me, that's your mental peace, because your mental state is connected to the spirit. You feel it, right? But you don't see it. And so those are the ones I'm talking to that been in it for so long. And sometimes you come and say, I don't even know if it's worth it. If you've been in it this long, you got to keep going. And that's what happened to me when I went to the next phase and wanted to take the book form of my writing and wanted to bring it to life in the sense of film or the stage. And I went through some mess. And what got me through during that struggle, and that time it was like 17 years. It was a long time to even get to that point. And I kept remembering the journey and why I was there, and what I felt that through my writing, that's my purpose. And it can branch out like a tree. So I cannot give up. And I have to keep on. All right. So when we say, in a sense, or let me back up, let me now focus on the what. Okay. What does it often seems like when you're in the struggle? To know that's the struggle that's tied to your meant to be. Your meant to be is your purpose. If you reach your purpose, it's on. Okay. That is your joy. No matter what's going on, if you're doing that, what you were meant to do, what you're good at, that's your joy. That's your success. Is when you would do it for free. I know everybody got to do this and that and cover that because, you got financial ties to it. But for the most part, you know what I'm saying? You basically doing it for free, but you enjoy it because it brings you joy and it brings someone else joy as well. And it happens in a way that it just fits into place and it's a pattern. All right, so let's move on to strategies to succeed, okay? In today's show, where we're focusing on how to hold on when the struggle has been so long and you don't give up. So for most people, they want to compare themselves to someone else, right? Okay, I've been in this for so long. That person, it seems like they didn't really do nothing and it's all over. Do not do that. That leads to let me put it this way. That leads to thinking, that leads to negativity when you compare yourself with someone else. You got to remember you're on a different path. Okay? You were born at a certain time. Okay? You probably did this and that at a certain time that somebody else did that you compare it to. So you can't say these are the same apples. It's not. So you have to focus on your own journey and accept that. Okay? So that's number one. And the second thing is look at your choices. Okay? You have to reevaluate, making sure that you made the best choice, the good choice for the greater good for what you're trying to get out of. And that can focus on your career. That can focus on your personal life as well. The second thing is the patterns of purpose. Again, I keep saying purpose because I'm telling you that's it. Once you get that, everything else fall into place. Of course, you're going to have your struggles in life and that come. That's why you have motivators like us to say, hey, get back up. You can do it. You know what I mean? To pump you up, to coach you up. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, that's it. The patterns that keep showing up that show that this is it. It fulfills you. It helps someone else. That's the real good gold nugget, right? Now, the third thing is basically to learn from the failures of the choices that I mentioned in number 1. So when you end the struggle, take the time to evaluate my point number 1, choices. 2, patterns of purpose. Are you following the lead, the path that takes you to your purpose? The meant to be's, something that's happened, a coincidence of you being at a certain place, and then you get the opportunity to basically reinforce the patterns of purpose. 3, learn from any failures. We make mistakes. Actually, the failures that happen in your life, to give you a tidbit on that, is that it's actually a good thing, right? Now, the tricky part is you can't self-doubt, because your failures open up the opportunity for Mr. Doubt to sit in front of you and say, see, I told you couldn't do it, da da da. And then more people that represent that mindset will enter in your life to say, see, da da. That's where you got to go back to number 1, to your choices, right? To your foundation of what you believe in and your belief. And remember what you already been struggling and overcoming, right, on this journey to get to the outcome, to not fall into the failures on that side, that it will not happen. No, you flip that and say, I'm a survivor. If I made it, this is what I always have done. I keep doing it, and this is what helped me when I got into stage, right? And I had a lot of naysayers, okay? I had a lot. Oh, did I had a lot. And what got me was like, I came too far in this struggle to give up now. I came too far. So I'm going to learn from this. And then the next opportunity when I'm at the bat, I'm going to swing it much more differently, much more strategic, so I can get the outcome, right? And that's what I did, and that's what helped me. And that's what I'm telling you that you need to do. The 4th strategy for you to succeed is to commit to new strategies, right? Sometimes we get stuck in doing the same pattern, in the sense that, like, chasing the tail, or maybe it's a in street that we hoped it was this and we really want it to be this way, so we scuffing at the door to hope that the door will open, when we really need to realize it's the same path to the same end, and we need to change the game. So be open to look at it in a different way. All right, so that's really the takeaway from that. I say every quarter of the year, take a look and see the choices that you made. Did it get you really farther, or did it get you backward, right? Now, sometimes you can be stagnated, and sometimes it's just the season, right? And we got to look at that when we look at nature. It will only bloom in the right season. So if you're trying to set it off in the fall, but really it's springtime. All right, you hear me? It's springtime for the flowers or whatever you're trying to get to bloom. It's better than you take the fall to be able to prep for it, to get ready for the spring. That's the takeaway. All right, so let me move on now. Finally, as we're going to go ahead and close this up, it's your task to dusk to dawn, which again, I basically got that from one of my mentors and favorite writer, W.B. Du Bois. Is where you take this and then, I'm recommending you to implement it, right? So the first thing for your task to dusk to dawn is you got to list what you have done that is beneficial to what you seek to finally reach your set plan goal, no matter how small. So you make that your victory of encouragement. Next, find something else that can still lead or add support to the one you're still struggling with. Okay. The last thing, also I just want to kind of throw this at you. If this is a personal struggle, dealing with relationships, right, with someone else, not saying it could be platonic, right, but if just in a relationship that they're in your life outside of work, that type of group that I'm talking about, you have to do what I have themed this whole season. And I will still going forward. You have to do this. You have to define your worth in that relationship. Sometimes it can be family members. Sometimes it can be close friends. Sometimes it can be colleagues that you became close friends outside of work. Whatever it is. If it fits this category, what I'm talking about, that's what you got to do. Because I feel everybody themselves define their worth. And then they also expect someone else to do it. And if you speak up when someone's not doing it, that's a good thing, because you got to make sure that people are not disrespecting you, because that takes away your worth. All right. And when I say that, I'm saying in the sense of the good of light, you know. And so defining your worth is mean that you have to come to a decision. If you're in it for so long and you're trying to get to the outcome and it's not, and it's like going back and forth, and either in toxicity or borderline toxicity, or it's not working out, you have to decide. You have to come to a conclusion to keep holding on or to let go. You have to be kind to your heart, right? And allow your mind of reason to direct you which way to choose into following you out of that stressful and non-mental peace status. Okay, relationships are very hard, right? They take longer. So anybody's in your knit, or in your close knit, or what have you, in your group and in your immediate circle, and they're saying, well, no, you should do this and you should do that. I'm just going to be straight up with you. You have to do what your heart and your mind is ready to do. I'm going to say that again. You have to do what your heart and your mind is ready to do. Your heart and your mind is on different paths itself. I mentioned that before. I'm going to do a podcast on that, because you have to be compassionate, and most people, they don't show the compassion when you're struggling with it, right? It takes a while for you to make that decision and you be consistent with it, right? You've been in it so long, you don't want to give up. I did all it is. Look at this, and now I got to turn away. But then you got to come back to what I said. When you define your worth, it doesn't matter at that point. You're going to take that as a flip the coin, as a lesson in life, and you'll define your worth is that you deserve something better. And so to do that, you have to let it go so you can be able to reach for what's trying to be given to you, what's trying to come in your life. And so you be patient with your heart, but you be honest as well. And you understand how your mind works, because your mind probably telling you it's time to let go on this. Or maybe it's saying, not yet. This is the pattern of purpose, and you just need to keep going. All right, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. So your motivational takeaway: nothing is worth it unless you earn it. For it becomes the sweetest berry for you and others by your good deeds of seeds. Okay? Fruits of your labor. All right. Thank you. All right. Thank you so much for joining me today in my podcast show, Surviving Your Journey Towards Success. I also want to go over a few things just so we can continue to stay in contact. The first thing is that, just to let you know, I do provide career consultation. It's offering for the first 30 minutes is free. After that, I do have a rate. It do adjust depending on your actual need. But if it's an emergency, just go ahead and you can request an initial consultation, which is free, of course. You can contact me by my email, which is info@nichelanderson.com. Now, also, I do have like a 1-800 free numbers if you're calling like outside of the United States. But mainly that is for when I do my free webinars, okay? So I'm not connected to the webinar call-in number unless I'm doing a free event, and I usually advertise that, or promote that I should say, weeks in advance. So if I'm not promoting that I'm doing a free webinar, then those numbers are not being used. I'm not tied to that. Now, I might consider to have a 1-800 number, but for the most part right now, it's just going to be my email address. So if you have any questions or concern, you can definitely go ahead and reach out to me by my email address. Now, I also want to let you know that I do provide business courses and self-improvement courses as well, that overall deals with strategy and, of course, motivating you so you can keep your joy, or get your joy and mental peace that leads you to your success while you're on your journey. Now, those courses are normally available in 1 through mid-late spring of the year, and then again in the fall. I will usually go ahead and post that on the home page of my official website, nichelanderson.com. If you have any questions or trying to to figure out exactly how to sign up for the courses, go ahead and drop me an email, info@nichelanderson.com, and I will gladly respond back to you personally to answer any of your questions regarding the courses that you're thinking of signing up for. And those courses again are usually around about 2 or 3 that I will release a year. And again, it's doing 2 times a year, the spring and the fall. In the future, I might do summer courses that I am releasing as well. And then finally, I just want to do a special call out. I really want to connect with the people that are following me. And to do that, I definitely would love to be able to send out a newsletter. So with that, of course, you have to sign up by providing your email address. So you should see a link in the bottom of this description. Pretty much on every episode, you will find a link to sign up. Now, it will either say, sign up here for Nichel E-List Tips newsletter. You'll click that. It'll take you to a page that is secured for you to go ahead and type in your email address, and then I will get that and see that you are to be included. It will not be spam. I will not hound you with 4 or 5 newsletters every day or other emails sent to you, because pretty much I have a busy schedule and I want to make sure that I'm delivering the quality content that you will be most interested in. Now, also, you can visit my website, my official website, Nichel Anderson, and you can click where it says contact, and you will see it gives you that option to sign up to my newsletter. And again, that website direct link will be in this description, which is basically nichelanderson.com/sign-up-to-newsletter. But again, I will have all of that in the description. So don't forget to do that. In a sense, just if you want to stay connected with me to get some updates or what have you, new information, special events that I'm doing, and stay connected with me, join my newsletter. I'm really trying to get that to a point that I can be able to quickly update the people that is following me more quicker than my regular releases of my episodes or what have you, my podcast or any other special projects that I'm doing. Now, also don't forget to subscribe to my podcast here, which is nichel7.podbean.com, and you can connect with that on iTunes. I am on iTunes, and you can do that right on my podcast homepage here at Podbean or at the Apple Store. I'm also on Google Play and, of course, any other type of directories that you can be able to find. I am learning that people are actually adding this podcast and my other podcast show to the directories as well. All right, so don't forget to follow me on social media. My official website is nichelanderson.com, as I mentioned earlier. Please follow me on Twitter. Now I'm very active on Twitter. Usually I will post new thing, not a lot, but at any rate, I am, drop some motivational quotes. I do that on Twitter, and that Twitter page is twitter.com/Nichel Anderson. I also have a Facebook page, that is facebook.com/Nichel Anderson fan page. So also you can find this show notes. My show notes will be listed on the home page here on Podbean. You will see that to the left. You will click that and it will give you future shows that are to be released to give you a heads up of what's coming next. Also, I want to go ahead and let you know that you can purchase my Corporate America book, Surviving Your Journey to Success. It is available on Amazon or any other bookstore that you might be interested in purchasing through. So just to recap and to wrap this up, my podcasts are released every Monday by 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And then guest interviews that when I do have them, I will pre-announce that of who will be the guests, as well as you can apply to be a guest by filling out the guest application form. You will find that on the left side of the menu on my homepage here at Podbean. Okay, you just go to NichelleAnderson7.podbean.com and you will see a direct link to that guest speaker application. You will fill that out. It normally takes me 48 to 72 hours or less to review that, and then if I see if it's a good fit, then I will respond in that sense or let you know where we at in that process. So consider that. If you have any questions, I want to say during my podcast, I also want to encourage you to go ahead and just send me an email and I can answer that on my next episode. So what have you, and I definitely will respond back that I got it. Okay. So just to kind of recap about my podcast here, how it releases new content every Monday by 10 a.m. Also, share with you that my podcast here now have started offering the ability to get my premium content from my other podcast show, Nichel Anderson Short Stories and Beyond, that patron program where you have access to the full short stories because I love writing stories. It's one of my favorite things to do, and plus it's coming from my passion and my purpose of writing and motivating doing my through my writing. So at any rate, go ahead and check that out. So how to get to that is basically on the left side of the menu at NichelleAnderson7.podbean.com. You will see that ability where it says you will see premium content plans. And from there, you'll click on that and it will list the different options that you can sign up for. I am providing a few days of a free trial so you can sign up that way and you will get the access to the content before you commit to actually subscribe. So it's a great way to get this extra premium content from my other podcast show, all in one little place here at my podcast at Surviving Your Journey Towards Success. So go ahead and try that out. And then if you really like it, you can even consider going to my Patreon page. That's patreon.com, where you actually get rewards for joining through that portal. All right, so just go ahead and consider that. So this concludes my podcast show today. I hope you enjoyed this broadcast. Please again follow me on social media. Again, my website, NichelleAnderson.com. I'm on Twitter, twitter.com/Nichel Anderson, and Facebook.com/Nichel Anderson fan page. So I want to go ahead and leave you with my motivational takeaway for you. Continue for your encouragement, and that is be you that strengthens and inspires your ability to be strong in your journey endeavor. It's a good thing towards your mental peace and joy, always to your success.